Yo, 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 yo. What
Morning.
up? What up? What up? How you
Happy
doing?
Saturday.
Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday.
What a lovely day it is.
It is nice, yo.
Those beautiful Saturday morning tunes you were listening to just now.
That was one of my joints, man. I made that 2 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah, he makes music too. What? I know. He's really, this was 2 years ago, but so I'm like, you haven't really just started, but like, now this year, you know.
I started rapping this year, though. I started rapping this year, and it's been dope. It's like a little childhood kind of thing, and it's something I've always done. Like Cass used to just rap and beat on and hit on the cafeteria table and all that, and so it's been fun, yo.
That sounds like an amazing like New York movie that I would love to watch and just be like, the kids are all right. That's beautiful. Hell yeah, and he's so good. You know, I was wary. I was like, oh man, he wants to rap. Oh gosh. And so,
you know,
he's so
bringing out the creativity out here, bruh.
So
try some shit out. This whole year, this whole past year has been that, and it's been dope. It's been dope with ya, my beautiful wife, my lovely wife. Make sure that's good. You can hear me, right? Okay.
Yeah. Oh.
What's up?
So we should introduce ourselves.
That's right.
By the way, in case you're just like, you've stumbled across this. I don't know how the YouTubes works, but you know, I'm Sheba. I'm this like beautiful, like, I don't know. I can't think. I'm amazing. I'm really awesome. Really dope.
That's true. I can vouch for that. I'm Billy, and I'm pretty cool too. I'm always changing.
Oh, I love that.
That's cool. I like that.
That's a great one.
And this is Saturday, 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 Saturday. Morning cartoons. Yes, it's December 17th, 2022. I think we might probably do one more. We might have one more episode before the end of the year.
Yeah, it'll be on on Christmas Eve.
Christmas Eve, yeah.
That'll be fun.
It'll be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even though it's just a regular day.
Yeah.
You know, for us, which is to say, it'll be filled with joy and magic.
Yeah. And Saturday morning cartoons, yeah.
And Saturday morning cartoons.
Yeah, man.
Oh, and maybe a Christmas song or something. Do you like Christmas songs?
I love Christmas. Well, yeah, I used to. I haven't listened to them in a while, you know. Actually, yes, I do. Every time Christmas comes around, yeah.
I don't want to tell on you, but
I'm gonna say like, yeah, it just feels like it's a once a year thing.
Which stinks because some of the songs are like so beautiful really and like fun to sing and just like yes, and it's nice that like everyone knows it. You know, everyone knows the song. That's kind of a fun.
You know what brings me like a weird emotional feeling sometimes? And when I say emotion, I don't even know further how to describe it, but it brings me back to childhood is that Peanuts joint. And as a child, like it wasn't so much that I liked it, but I heard it a lot, and it just gives me a calming kind of feeling, but also a little bit of an anxiety. I don't know.
It's a forlorn song. I think. That's what. It's nostalgic, in a way, but in a way that's kind of like sad.
Yeah, it just has a sad tone to it, but I don't even know what the lyrics are on this thing. I don't think it's sad.
Christmas time is here.
It's a happy song, right?
I mean, I think it's like a neutral song. Like, you know, it's not the happiest of Christmas songs, but like...
No, it's not. It's not.
I think it's like, you know, sleigh bells in the air. It's like a descriptive one.
But like, you know, Silent Night is also really chill and subtle like that, but it doesn't...
Silent Night actually has some fire-ass lyrics. Yo.
Silent Night.
Oh, no, I'm thinking of another one. I was thinking of Oh Holy Night.
What?
Oh Holy Night. It's another night.
That's completely different. It's not silent. That's a holy night.
It's holy. It's not silent. That's true. That's weird. Silent Night is boring as fuck. Yeah. Holy Night. Oh yeah, it's boring as shit.
Yeah. No, but it doesn't give me the same thing. I'm trying to. It's weird because we don't spend time doing this, right? But just to jump into the weird shit right off break, like to be able to come in and try to articulate like what that feeling is. Why? I'm talking about nostalgia. There's a sadness. There's a anxiety. There's like a positive nostalgia also.
I bet there's a German or Japanese word that describes that exact feeling.
Exactly.
Like the wistful sadness you get from a reverie of childhood. Exactly.
It's
I'm
like,
wow.
17 syllables.
Exactly.
Um.
Anyway, well, that is for next week. We can.
Oh yeah, we're
do
gonna get
peanuts
into that.
next week.
We could do
and
peanuts.
little drummer boy.
We could do Christmas or holidays.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, that'd be in the
and
thing.
I was saying the thing.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, this is how our production meetings go. They are random and at any time. But today
is.
Oh wait, actually, sorry. Last thing. You know, I love a good ritual. Were we trying to do that breath thing?
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Should we just tell them?
Let's center ourselves.
Yeah. Look, we're doing girls today. Last week we did boys. This week we're doing girls.
Yes.
For the topic, and
girls.
It's gonna be interesting.
All I really want is girls.
But a couple of weeks ago, Sheba had us do some breath work, and I thought it was really dope and grounding. So.
Yeah, breathing's awesome. Okay.
You got us.
Comfortable. Okay. Let's inhale. 1, 2, 3. Hold at the top. 2, 3. Exhale. 2, 3. Hold at the bottom. Inhale. Hold at the top. Exhale. One more. Inhale. Hold at the top. Exhale. Hold it out. I want to practice that when not on, just because it's very difficult to.
Yeah, with you talking.
Inhale and.
I kept opening my eyes. I'm like, there's no. I'm out here holding my.
Why?
You're talking. Like, so
I'm trying to help.
There's no way you're doing it.
Of course.
It's weird. Anyway.
I was like, oh shit, I'm running out of breath.
Shout to the people who do that, who lead these kinds of things, but in the moment, they're leading and helping. Anyway.
Everybody benefits from it, but no one wants to do it. I often find myself being that person. As a girl, as a woman. Look at me, bring it back.
The lead-in. So what's up with y'all? Tell me about girls.
We are perfect. We are immensely valuable. We are so powerful.
Sugar and spice and everything nice.
And wildness and shit that doesn't taste good. Poison. And
poison.
Salt water. Ocean water. Mud.
So why is it important to do that actually? Because typically it's sugar and spice and everything nice. Why are you including all this grimy shit?
Because girls are grimy. Because we're humans. We're all of the things. We're life. So we are not just the things that make you feel good, sugar and spices and everything nice. Even though we do make everything better, add a little flavor to things, add a little color, as you might see. But also, got lots of facets. There's mud. There's also stuff that you shouldn't put in your mouth, and things that will be icky. But that's what makes us so powerful.
Yeah.
Ungovernable, wild, feral, if you will.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
But who's some girls or people you looked up to when you were a girl? Why?
I think more importantly, who are some girls that you looked up to when you were a girl?
Could you ask that question again?
Who are some girls who you looked up to when you were a girl? When you were a boy. Sorry. When you were a little boy. If you were a little boy when you were a little boy. That's how you started, right?
Yeah. I could answer that question differently now, but you're saying when I was a boy?
Mm-hmm.
When I was a boy, I used to point to my mom a lot, and I didn't have, and that's true, that's the woman, I didn't.
Anyone outside of your family?
Yeah, outside of family, as a boy, as a kid. No, we're kind of taught to like if you're talking about like a celebrity or something, you know, we look to men. You know, we don't look to women. So yeah, that's, you know.
Try a bite of this.
Try
It's
this?
so good. So this is from this place, Bramble Baking Company, right down the street from us. It's so delicious. It's this coconut croissant twist.
That's legit.
Like, holy shit. We got that. We got a morning bun and apple hand pie. So, excuse us if it gets a little messy. Around here.
Really
But that's
good,
what girls are. It's delicious, sweet, but you know you're gonna be covered in flakes. It's gonna like, you know, you'll be licking your fingers.
So you answer the question
Anyway,
now.
sorry. So okay, what was it again?
Who do you look up to?
When I was a girl?
When you were a girl, and then right now.
Oh man.
Because you just described, when you said girls, you described everything, right? I think you threw everything in there. So life and dirt and sugar and candy. So okay.
Yeah. Totally.
So what is a girl then? And who did you model yourself after?
Yeah, man. Let's see. Who the fuck did I model myself after? I'm feeling like I'm a little high, so I can't think of it now.
Well, I know you always pick Dolly Parton.
Oh yeah, that's true. That was later in life. I didn't discover her till later in life. I always loved Pearl Bailey. Can we bring up Pearl Bailey?
Yeah, of course we can.
Oh, can we bring up her Muppet Show? One of her Muppet Show things.
Yeah.
Pearl Bailey, or maybe not. Maybe something where she's being funny. Something with Betty White, maybe. She was just this comedian, an actress. She had beautiful hands. She was just like very herself in a time where, you know, I think like we think of women as being like small and demure and helpful. I liked Pearl Bailey. I loved Lucille Ball. I love Lucy. I loved Lucy. Let's see. Any of these. Pearl Bailey married her husband 4 days after meeting him. Girl, if that isn't me, it did not work out as well for me though. She usually maybe this or yeah.
I still don't know whether we ought to sing Back the Night though.
Why not? I mean, it's a great song.
Well, I agree. I love the song, but my goodness, it's been done so much.
Just because people, you know, they play it over and over again, they don't know, they're trying to figure out what it means.
I'm with them. I don't know what it means either.
Well, I tell you what, Donna, you sing it, and I'll explain it. You see, I belong to the teenage set.
So you do. All right, gotta tell it plain. Ready?
Yep.
Oh, the shark has
What?
pretty teeth, dear,
Uh-huh.
and he shows them
How, Donna?
pearly white.
That's my pearly me.
What's the jackknife?
Oh,
Has McHeath,
this man carries a weapon.
and he keeps it
Where?
out of sight.
Well, he's scared of the law.
Oh, the shark bites
Oh, he
with
bites.
his teeth, dear.
How else?
Scarlet billows
What's those below?
start to
Oh,
spread.
it's starting to spread.
Fancy gloves, though,
Oh,
has McHeath
well, the
in.
man's a gentleman.
So there's not
Mm,
a trace of red
you watch out with the red.
on the sidewalk.
Oh,
Anyway.
Yeah, this is dope.
that's nice.
I first heard about Pearl Bailey probably about 10 years ago. So yeah, I wouldn't have had her on the list anyway because yeah, I'm 30 when I first hear about her and I see this dynamic singer, actress, black woman. You
Pearl
talk
Bailey
about
Muppets.
her
Yeah.
hair. I saw something. She's in the category. Once I saw some interviews with her, I put her in the oh man, who's the Catwoman?
Eartha Kitt.
Eartha Kitt category. Like
She like back that she married her husband was a white man. He's
Yeah.
like a drummer and she like, you know, after she was famous, well she was still famous, she was like an ambassador for something and she got her like master's in theology. She's just a very interesting person and like that is what I'm about, like doing all the things,
Which
recognizing
one?
I'm amazing. This is a great one. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, we were planning to do the jousting scene from Camelot, but I do think we should cancel this. But there's been a very pointed argument against canceling.
All right, good work done, sir.
So anyhow, wish us luck, folks, because here is our special guest star, Miss Pearl Bailey and the Muppet Players in what almost might sort of, kind of like be considered the jousting scene from Camelot.
black version.
Fellas, I can tell.
That's what's up, you know?
Fellas.
You're still growing, you're still growing, you're still going stronger.
So, what's crazy about Pearl for me, again, knowing about her for the first time 10 years ago, I've seen all this stuff, and she exists in this category of like this bold black woman who's sexy, but, you know, still has this kind of
Contralto voice and...
Yeah, but like, I don't know. Then I saw was she in Playboy, or she did a thing with her boobs out?
Yeah, so, I can't remember...
What I want to say is like,
Pearl
there's this
Bailey,
era of the beautiful
sheer.
black woman who has a kind of sexy that in my mind is also a little bit demure and covered somehow. And then when I got to see Pearl Bailey in a couple, like, she was more than that. And I remember I had to adjust my thinking about her. It was a thing. What is that? What do you say I should type?
So this is the
Sheer.
Yeah. Ow. So when I got those boudoir photos taken,
Yeah.
I did one that was like that. I had this sheer top, and I tried to be like,
Yeah.
but it did not come out as, you know, it didn't look as good as hers does. But like sexy, right?
What was that shoot for? I wonder.
It was a photographer who does stuff like that, that kind of style.
Okay.
But right, I think like we are told this like story like by our parents about like things where everyone was chaste and ladies were ladies, and you know, like we didn't do certain, and like, girl, I mean, lots of people probably didn't, but I am like, those are not the people that I was inspired by. I was inspired by the Pearl Baileys. I was inspired by people who were like, you know, recognize like, I'm beautiful. I don't care if you don't see it. Like, I'm amazing. I'm funny. I can sing. I'm clever. I can combine those things. I don't have to be one or the other, you know.
It's crazy because I was under the impression that if I'm looking at a black and white picture of like a burlesque woman or something, like she was in a category of like the slut or the whore. She didn't get access to the movies in Hollywood and things like that. You know, and she was one of the first women that made me rethink that it wasn't bearing your body or showing your features that way. If you got a spread on Playboy, that society would shun you because that was bad behavior. Obviously it wasn't true. Then you have Madonna, and then you have
Marilyn Monroe,
and who's the Baywatch chick, and
Pamela Anderson.
I see more black women. I don't see a lot of black women.
Yeah, like we certainly have been punished for sexuality. What's her name? Vanessa Williams, my girl. She like was the first black, I want to say Miss America or something like that. And then they took her thing away because like they found these like sexy pictures that she'd taken a little bit before. Like, so we're supposed to celebrate and understand our bodies are beautiful and works of art, but also not profit off of them because it's like immoral. Why are we? Who's telling us these stories? Who benefits from us not realizing how powerful and beautiful, what works of art we are?
I think it's just stories, you know. It's just narratives, you know, and that's why, you know, the sugar and spice thing I think is a great way to enter it. That's why I was trying to ask and see about this expansion of what is typically how you describe a girl. You added all these other things that I think most, let's call it power structures, let's call it the way we talk. We don't want to think of y'all that way.
Yeah.
I remember for a long time I was like, as a kid before I had sex, whatever, I was like, do girls take shits? Do they poop? Like, is that a thing? And I would legit ask some of the dudes around there, and cats be like, some guys used to say no. I'm trying to think how young I was, but we all come up with these myths in order to make it work, you know. So,
did you know that other boys pooped?
I guess I was less interested in that. I guess, yeah. I assume they're just like me. You see, it goes back to the thing like y'all are different, you know, fundamentally.
Yeah.
Y'all probably don't poop. Y'all should smell. And the ones who smell, if you have underarms, whatever, and you smell bad, that's not. You're not a girl. You know, that's not.
It's too similar to me.
Sugar and spice, everything nice.
And that's the other thing too. Is like this separation. Like, you know, women are sugar and spice and everything nice. Guys smell and have hair and are, you know, like run or whatever or are strong.
Right.
But like, So
But like
women,
when you set the narrative, when you're the narrative setter, right? You have allowances for self. You have nuance
you
and
recognize
texture
that
and
you're a
color.
whole person.
You understand the fullness of it. You have more you have a longer leash for yourself. You incorporate truth with yourself. But when you other somebody, you create templates and ideals, and you try to enforce that, and these diversions from those templates create tension in your mind, nowhere else, but we just operate on that. So that's I think when I come at it as a dude who looks at this stuff with like a feminist, womanist lens, that's something I come back to a lot, is that a lot of the definitions and terms that we have for y'all were constructed from outside, you know what I mean? Upon you, while I think for us, it's like we're like, oh yeah, dude, we like stuff, we like to build, and we like, we're logical. That's just a better narrative for us.
Like, y'all don't like limiting yourselves in that way. It reminds me of that the dude in Virginia that we had dinner with, who is like saying he likes to, ask potential dates, do they consider themselves masculine or feminine? And I asked him, I was like, what's masculine to you? And he said that, well, there aren't really like traits to describe masculine, but if she said masculine, I would be like, okay, no, not for me. And it's like, okay, so whatever masculine is, it's the opposite of feminine. If she had described feminine traits and said feminine, you would have been like, great. Like, because you have something in your head about what is masculine, but you don't want to define it.
Right.
But you do want to define femininity. You know what that is, and like
intuitively, just knows what it is, because it's not, and it feels like it could be something hardwired, but it's not that. It's that it's been very subtly soft-wired, and it's just a pervasive set of like observations over, a life.
Observations and stories that have accompanied it, that have benefited dudes.
Right.
And women are supposed to be these like demure, like kind of mysteries who like you never hear their opinions or blah blah blah. And that's why when you ask me, are girls sugar and spice and everything nice? And I'm like, no, we're all these other things. You're like, what?
Well, so okay, beyond what, then keep going. Then tell me more about what girls are, because we're trying to define like the ways people have boxed girls, but then.
Well, what am I? You see, like, I'm clumsy.
You're clumsy.
I'm silly.
I'm smart.
I'm a little stinker. I'll admit it. No, but that's also, that's actually something I'm very, I'm insecure about. Not very insecure about, but I have been, like, since I was a girl, just this idea of being, people thinking I smell bad. Like, my vagina, my armpits, my just everything. And I think women are kind of taught that you're supposed to be sweet smelling. You're supposed to be sugar and spice. You're supposed to be pleasant to behold and experience. Yeah. Like, we don't care that like you're feeling sad or whatnot. Like, smile,
Right.
Make me feel good. Stop laughing like that. Stop doing that vocal fry. Like, it's annoying to me. Like, girls do not exist to be pleasurable to you in the same way that you don't exist to be pleasurable to girls. Exactly. Like, you're allowed to be dirty and still be loved. So should I.
That pleasurable external descriptor isn't part of my narrative, though. It's not an anxiety for me. So yeah, I know you're not the only woman by far with that thing, with that anxiety over smell, or that's why women, I think, care more about their physique. Let's say because men get away with being all kinds of shapes, and dad bods becomes a cute thing, and we incorporate that into what men is. But y'all have some stringent, especially about the external gaze and beauty and the experience. Real talk. It's crazy when you think about, you read back not too long ago, like, just the fact that you can have pleasurable sex, or that you have the right to it, like
that I have the right to refuse sex in marriage.
Right.
Relatively new thing. It was like the 70s, mid 70s, that they were like, oh, a wife can like refuse sex, and her husband raping her is rape. It's not just what he's entitled to. Like, it's like you can't rape your couch. It's a thing that is there to serve you in that way.
Some of this stuff is so absurd too. If you look at the history, you can see clearly what's happening. You know, if we could just talk straight about what it is, it's clearly a question of defining terms and power. You know, so what's happening now though, I think, because a lot of dudes, there's a whole movement, right, that doesn't really like the new terms and the new definitions that are being made, particularly as you guys, as women, grab their microphones for themselves, get on social media, and they're telling guys who they are, what they value, what they want, what they won't tolerate. Shit like this. This is a new thing, and
Yeah.
so like even stuff like OnlyFans or Instagram thottery. You know, what are your thoughts on OnlyFans and Instagram?
You know, I love it. I'm like, man, how smart. Look at me doing all this stuff for free. Like being beautiful, being good at sex, being like lovely to behold and not making money off of it. Damn. I think it's so smart and I love it. I'm very proud of my sisters and for being so industrious and for being aware of like, hey, for whatever reason, people enjoy looking at women doing certain things in the same way that people seem to enjoy men using their body in certain ways, football or boxing or like modeling.
Is it harming? Like is it harming relationships? Are you beyond like?
In what way? Yeah, like whose relationships?
I don't frequent these circles, but I see occasionally chat about women being absurd. Obviously, I mean, there's a whole Kevin Samuels made himself some good money off the idea that y'all are just absurd. You don't understand the market. You guys have, you know, warped things in your favor somehow.
Yeah.
The definitions on manhood, and you demand, like, aren't women sort of demanding interesting things now in a different way?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, and you know, sure, Kevin Samuels, but look who's alive now. Who really won in the end? And that's what I'm trying to do also. I'm just trying to outlive all these lame dudes and live. Whilst I'm here, I want to have I want to have like an amazing experience. Like I know that like me enjoying myself and loving myself, sorry, covered in flakes, sugar and spice, and also a bunch of gross stuff. Yeah, I know all the people who like are like, oh man, feminism made women all like blah blah blah, human, and now I have to respect them. I can't call her a whore. I can't be mean to her because she's dressed a certain way. And like, I mean, yeah, you're gonna have to get used to it. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. You're gonna have to get better. Like I am. Like, you don't think there's dudes who I'm like, I don't like what you're wearing. I don't like you. I think you're a mean person. I think you're unfunny, blah, blah, blah. And I allow you to exist without being shitty to you. And like, just do that to women. So get with it.
Yeah. Because
the only thing that is guaranteed is evolution and people adapting and people synthesizing information that they get. So
here's what I think about, but
so women are going to keep understanding how valuable they are, and it's going to get worse in your eyes, you know, as we become more
the thing about the Instagram thottery or OnlyFans or that, it's opened up a new market and a new way for people to directly appeal to audiences and to make money for themselves.
Yeah.
And some people seem to be doing really well with it and making millions. Some of the arrangements going on were arrangements that would have happened in other spaces anyway, but now it's just formalized and made direct and simple. So people are paying for pictures of feet and for I don't know, like used panties and all these. Like, these markets are formal. So which
is like amazing. Like, let's stop acting like
my question
if someone wouldn't pay me money, pay you money for your stinky socks, you wouldn't
That's the thing.
Get that?
That's what I think is the thing. Is that what I'm trying to get to is men seeing this thing made plain is upsetting for, let's say, like a Ben Shapiro type, right? Ben Shapiro is this conservative. He's a little guy who is a conservative and particularly thinks that, you know, men should be like men, women should be like women. And he's a libertarian. He believes markets and people should be able to do whatever they want. This market is a market he can't enter. You see what I'm saying? Like, he makes his money lying on the internet and using division to sell ads on a silly subscription service, right? He'll do that. There's nothing immoral about that. There's nothing immoral in his mind about the market that he engages in and how he engages in it and how he demeans people and stifles people's right to life and liberty. But if you were to take a picture with your shirt off and make $30,000 off of it, he would condemn you. You are evil when in fact you're just like, if he were to take his biases off of it, you're just in the space.
Yeah, it's not my fault
You're
that
making,
people will pay me $30,000.
he believes in that, and he believes in that. He
Yeah.
believes in that freedom to operate that way, you know? So it's just, this is the thing, but no one critiques him that way. He doesn't even, we don't even have the framework and the discourse to talk about what he's doing that way, or what you might be doing, or what the women on Instagram are
Vanessa
doing.
Williams. That's all she did was take pictures of herself in sexy positions and clothes for money, and they tried to say that she was bad for that. Why? That's just, it's the same reason that she entered the Miss America contest, because you can win money off of how you look.
Money, fame, access, all kinds of stuff.
And so it's
But
all about
an
who gets to reap the benefit.
It's an arena that most men can't, you know, there's no market so much for the average to medium, you know,
That's
man.
the other thing. I don't want dudes to sell themselves so short. Gay, porn, gay, OnlyFans, looking at sexy pictures of gay men, of men, is actually a very huge, very lucrative market. I think guys have been told this story that who wants to see me? A sexy dad bod in a little Speedo? Lots of fucking people. So don't, like, when I hear people saying like, oh, I do anything for my family. Guys, they always mean it in a violent way. You'll like fight someone or like do something like that. Like, what if all you needed to do was like take a picture of your nipple in a sexy way? You wouldn't do that for like $1,000. I don't think you would really do everything for your family. Like, you're only doing things that you, mental gymnastics are like moral. What?
It goes back to creativity, you know what I'm saying? That's why I see it at the end of the day, you know, this is a creative engagement with the space. The same way losers like Ben Shapiro creatively engage with the spaces they're in. And it's harmless.
Boxing too.
It's harmless.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, there's no victim there other than the contrived, like, thing that he puts on y'all.
That's what I think about, like, boxing, you know, or football. You know, I always talk about these things. These are men using their bodies in made-up ways to give pleasure to the audience. Like, and we're okay with that. We're okay with a sweaty man beating the shit out of another person.
People freely paid tickets to watch. There's a system of engagement, and yes, there are bodies being harmed. They're using their bodies. Why not look at it that way, you know? The reason is
like, do they sell their body
religion
to the, like, boxing promoters, which we know is a very exploitive industry. Why are we able to, like, kind of make this distinction when we look at the body, like the gendered body of the person? We're like, oh, that's okay to sell your body in that way. Go join the military. Go be a boxer. Go be a football player. But, like, OnlyFans? You should be ashamed. Have some respect for yourself. What? $30,000 for a picture of my tits? You're an idiot if you wouldn't take that. You are not a good business person. You're not smart.
And
you don't value yourself.
Let's say you have an issue with that market. Why don't they talk to the source of the buyer? The buyer, the source of the, you know, the source of the, what is it? Demand, you know?
Yeah. Exactly.
Again,
the supply.
They don't, again, in other arenas, they don't operate this way. They don't address human creativity with the same thing.
Yeah, but like NFTs are a made up thing. Like, you're not like, oh, buyers, you're dumb for valuing this made up thing. I mean, you think they're smart, that they're like, they see a value in it that we will all see in the future.
Now, is there value though in trying to, like, how do you raise a young girl? You know, in what direction do you point them?
Yeah, I mean, forward, obviously, right? You know, look at the people who have made it, you know, and who are living lives that you admire, you know. And like, even if those things are fictional depictions, like, you can still go for that. So that's why I love Pearl Bailey. I loved freaking what's my girl, Lucille Ball. I love Lucy. I loved knowing of her as a person. I loved you know, Spice Girls. If you want to be my lover, you got to get with my friends. I understood early friendship lasts forever, you know. And like, these dudes, they're gonna come and go. They aren't the ones who are gonna really love you. So I always had like a sense that like my girlfriends and women were my sisters. Even if I don't know them, I will give them the grace that most people are taught to reserve for men and boys. Boys will be boys. Well, girls will be girls, honey.
What's this sense though? I grew up kind of hearing, and Kendrick had a line in his verse with that argument he had with that girl, that y'all don't like each other. I wonder, like, those are narratives that are contrived too. The sense that you guys can't help but be catty. You guys actually don't support each other.
Yeah.
You don't experience that? You don't experience that at all?
I definitely have experienced people saying that, like, mostly men saying that, like, you know, women don't support other women. I think that is something that men actually created when they were like, no, women, you can't be in the workplace. And if we do let you in, we're only going to let one or two. So they created an artificial scarcity of positions available for women. And then they try to be like, oh, and you guys pit each other against each other. When it's a woman-led company, more women are hired. That's just a fact. Men hire more men. Women hire more women. That is women giving more women a chance. The people in my life who have always believed in me, always allowed me to be the fullness of who I am, have been women.
Yeah.
And
I think that's just another myth. You know, I really...
Yeah. I think anyone can screw you over. It's not a gendered thing, but we're told that women are more prone to, like, you know, being catty and like...
I don't think we understand how deep some of these phrases we use kind of sit. You know, you hear this phrase that women are catty or that women can't be around. Or any other group. Black people are X, white people are Y, you know, it's like... The deeper you get into it, the sooner you realize it's not true. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's on all of these things. So that's just another one.
You like see they're not true, and you can understand why, like, the opposite thing, the thing that we don't say as much but we allow, like, why we take that as true. So,
what you mean?
Like, the idea that women are catty and like they're frivolous. You know, they're always nagging. They're never talking about important things. They're always like henpecked husbands, and we understand the opposite to be true. Men, they have these brotherhood partnerships. They don't need to have all these words and key, and men are loyal to each other. Bros before hoes. And like, I don't know what y'all talking about. Like, bros are consistently screwing over their brothers, their friends. Literally, the first murder in the Bible was two bros. One murdering the other because he was jealous of his bro. Don't talk to me that like women are always the ones who are like such terrible to other women. Men are terrible to other men.
It's just it's narrative creation.
Like,
you know what I'm saying? It's narrative creation again.
And whatever, you know, I get it. Whatever body you're in, whatever society allows of you, you're gonna work within that. And if society allowed women to commit 90% of the gun murders and not talk about it, like, we would point to legislation and mental health about the thing, rather than being like, what the fuck is up with men? Why do we allow them to be so emotional? Why do we allow them to not control their emotions and use violence like that?
How interesting is it that on something like male gun violence, the conversation is always reduced to the personal level. It's something's wrong with that guy and that guy. And each time it happens, oh, something's wrong with that guy. It's never this broader thing. But again, with gun violence, we don't have this massive trend. in terms of gender, in terms of women, but on things that are, if I experience something with a woman, or we have an example of a celebrity woman who does something, whether it's being gossipy or whatever, we bring it social. We don't do the individual
we equate
thing.
it to all women.
Like, oh, here we go, another woman doing
exactly.
that.
See?
And this is a thing that happens. Again, it's narrative power. And I think in the battle of narratives even on something like social media, Facebook, men have this voice and tone and this capacity for straightforward like assertion that I think a lot of women choose to not like get into that. You know
We're
what I'm saying?
told not to be certain.
So that there's no pushback. These narratives just carry the day. You know what I'm saying?
And we all have this subtle understanding that if a man wants to believe his point enough, he can be violent. And so we all learn to kind of like, it's not worth it. Is that he's gonna yell, he's gonna get big, he's gonna physically intimidate. When I thought we were talking, we were using our words, and now you're using more things, and this subtle social contract we have of knowing that a dude is able to get violent in an argument, and we're all supposed to know to not let him get to that. We're supposed to like make ourselves smaller in order for them. So women learn to not speak, learn to choose our battles when men don't get that lesson.
Well, men have a different situation. I was trying to say that. I think I said it in the last episode that every conversation between men has this subtle thing. You know, unless you guys are deep friends or whatever. But even then, like, there's always a potential for it to elevate.
But that was also how women are. We also exist.
Right.
Any conversation with a man, regardless of the gender of the person having the conversation, the man is what makes it dangerous.
That's an interesting one.
So yeah, and that's what I kind of.
And you guys have the added stress of probably not going to be able to win the fight.
Exactly. So we learn to have to back down. Everyone knows that a man could be crazy. You know, that's not a gendered thing that like women don't realize they can get punched in the face.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? You know, like we all know that. But we also have this idea of like when a woman is, we're like, well, what did you do? Like, you know, what, you know, you must have provoked him. When what? No, we know dudes are crazy. We know you guys like, you know, don't are just starting to understand mental health therapy, but you're still finding excuses to not do it, not sit with yourself. Dudes have been taught to not like themselves.
So go ahead.
And so they're afraid of that work. Like healing, getting to know yourself, that's difficult.
I want to get into girls though. I want to get into women though, because women have similar problems. So how does it manifest when women don't love themselves? How's it like what keeps women from making the choices that are personal? And let's try to be like that are personally beneficial. And let's try not to, if men have something to blame, then say it, but also like what are women's own challenges internally?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely get how a woman who is confident with herself, who understands her value, who is loud, who is opinionated, they're punished. So I understand why women, when they are naturally have something to say, have an opinion, are bigger, are like whatever we're told like a woman should be. If you're outside of that, you self-police. You're like, I'm ugly, I'm gross. Let me. Oh, this guy wants to choose me. Great. He wants to, you know, treat me like this. Hey, I'm just happy to be in the room. You know, I understand it as a self-preservation thing. So I have a lot more empathy for, you know, we are sold. You know, don't love yourself. You're too smelly. The reason so many girls have this idea of like, oh, I'm stinky. I have to douche. I have to, you know, shave. I have to, you know, be covered in oils and the right kind of oils. My hair has to be the right type of way or else I don't love myself. It's all these images that we put on women, and they make money off of our insecurities and stuff. And I understand it. I get it. Women, just like men, have been told all these stories that say you're supposed to not love yourself. If you do love yourself, that's bad. Pride, loving yourself, vain. And we think of that as kind of a womanly trait, but why would they tell us stories that women shouldn't love themselves too much? That we should always be the self-sacrificing one who does things for the good of the family. Dudes don't do that.
These are, again, yeah, exactly.
So that was my long-winded.
No, that's not. I mean, that was.
Long-winded, but.
Yeah, the question is a deep ass question. It's like, what does it mean to be a woman? What are y'all going through? Why do certain things, you know, manifest? At the end of the joint on boys, I was talking about groupthink and how I was a follower, and how that manifested was like trying to make sure my girl was approved by the guys. That was more important than my relationship with her. This is back in middle school. I've got more though, like fights. I've been in situations where I'm doing wild shit that I shouldn't be doing because I want to be cool with the niggas. So what?
So yeah,
Like, how does it go for girls?
as a a girl who is dark skinned and had a gap tooth, like that girl who you stopped dating because the other guys didn't approve. I'm used to being the one who isn't approved, and so I know that what you're not supposed to do is act like it hurts your feelings. You have to be above it. You have to be like, cool, whatever. I'm not gonna come chasing after you. You don't want me? Fine, whatever. But I internalize it and I try to find the ways in which people do like me, and I go with that. I'm like, okay, they think I'm fun. They think I do funny voices. Like, I am down to do stuff. When we like say a thing, like, let's do this. I'm down. Knowing that I'm not the prettiest, knowing that I'm not going to be the ones that guys choose to hang out with, based on what they're told. Because that was the other thing. Dudes always loved to hang out with me. Like, I was always like a guy, like the best friend to guys who would date other people, and they would, come to talk to me about like the problems they had and stuff and things. And I was like, I get it.
That makes
but
sense.
Like,
You fun as hell, man.
I know.
But you're also beautiful. You're pretty.
Okay, I get it. I understand. That's how I felt. You're like, I don't get it. I didn't either. I was like, and so it was lucky for me that I was able to see, you know what? I think they kept me safe. Like, there was like a veil of protection over me. I got to develop an understanding of what made me valuable, because other people were certainly not giving it to me, and so I had to develop like, all right, no one's gonna like blah blah blah, so I have to figure out like what my style is, and even if other people don't get it, I have to understand, I have to love it. And so yeah, it was nice. And I didn't like, back then, I would have, I really wanted someone to date me. Like, that's what I see in high school, in movies and media and things. That's what, having a high school sweetheart, being the prom queen, having a high school boyfriend. Like, I loved that idea. Of course, I wanted someone to, and no one did. So I would have, if I'd have been maybe a little more light-skinned, if I'd have been one of the girls who, the other boys said, like, you can choose this one, I might have gotten pregnant. I might have done the things that I've been told are the things that give me valuable, or that show that I've been chosen, that show that I'm valuable to the world. But because I had that veil of protection over me, I was able to make myself interesting, make myself into someone I would think was cool. So now I dress awesome. Now I do interesting things. Now I say interesting things. I look really interesting. And
yup.
And look what it gets me. So I think women have been told this story that if you don't ask for much, if you know that you are this humble vessel that is, your best service is to help some man get to where you're supposed to be, you're going to stay small. Ask for everything. Create everything, and you'll get an awesome thing. Look at this amazing house. Look at this cool couch. Look at like how amazing I am.
I say you are all those things. And I'd say you touched on something there, because I know in my life, in my 40 years on this planet, I can count no fewer than 4 female friends of mine who came to me with like, I just found out I'm pregnant, either with a guy I don't like, or one of these cases, a guy who's violent, or a guy I'm flipping about, and there was such a strong pressure in their mind to keep it. And I would say, I tried my best to kind of navigate. They were asking me like their advice or what they, and I tried to navigate it, but be clear that I think, based on what you told me about,
your
the
reservations
and your reservations, like, don't do it. You know what I mean? And I'd say all 4 felt the pressure and or felt the love and attachment with the potential baby, and so went forward with it. And like,
how did it work out?
Well, they're mothers, and and
how's their life?
They're living life. I mean, they work and they have a child. I don't know how to describe it. I feel like I can't It's a different life than my own, you know. But that pressure, and even when I was in grad school, this is even like on the flip side. Like I went to grad school at American U, International Relations, and had some friends from like Egypt and from other, and so we were in our 20s, and they felt this pressure that they needed to already be married. You know what I'm saying? Like at 22, 24, it was like they're old and they're gonna age themselves out of marriage eventually,
which
like
is
very soon.
aging themselves out of their value. Women are told
Exactly. That's
that
what
we're
it is.
only valuable to be of service to a man, to create a child for him, and like hopefully he keeps us around for life. But that's like a very low bar, and also like that sucks. I feel bad. All those women. I feel whenever someone is pregnant, I'm like, oof, that's tough. I learned really to value my freedom and my well-being, and my, who I am, and I'm just able to see this world is not designed to make sure a child and their single mom thrive. And women are often told that you should want to, your choice, the best choice for you is to be of service to this child. That's the greatest thing you can do.
That's
and I think a lot of women don't really feel that way, but like all this external pressure, they want to look like a good mom, they want to be a good woman, and so they do that, and they make themselves small, and they won't admit it because we don't have the space to make women feel safe being like, I do resent this choice I was forced to make that wasn't given to the baby daddy.
I think we have to. I don't know how to do it because we got to manifest some political shit broader. But I think there's some weird thing that happens where for dudes it's a simpler calculation in our mind in terms of the we can. Cats joke about shooting up in the club. You know what I'm saying? Shooting the club up, like having sex without a condom, nothing inside the woman, not caring, and just kind of. It'll work, or even if and even if you care, or if you at the moment, I don't know. I think women are often resigned to a sense that we're gonna have to do this. We're gonna have to make this work, and dudes.
It is like a 9 month thing, and then a horrifying, traumatic event to do this, and then you have to really continue sacrificing your body in a way that men don't have to, and they're very flippant about it, and they're very shitty to women who are faced with a really difficult choice, and like they don't.
It's a weird thing, and we don't
feel as they're like, you know what, shouldn't have had sex to the women. They don't really do that to the dudes. You kind of allow them to have sex, give up the kid, let the woman do all the hard work, throw some money at it, show up every once in a while to look like a good dad, but you're not doing shit. Ladies, don't do it. My life is amazing. It's amazing. And that is what my child would want for me to have an amazing life. My child will love me so much. If I knew I could make my mom's life better by not existing, I would do it in a heartbeat.
What a weird hypothetical to make. I can't even. So anyway, I get what you're saying. I get the point, but it's interesting. You're very creative, and I appreciate that. What about we just watched White Lotus, and we watched both White Lotuses, but White Lotus, the second one, was really tough too. It was a slower build for me, but then the end was like, oh shit. So I guess we might have some spoilers here. Spoiler.
Spoilers. Oh, Jennifer Coolidge.
Just the women in that, they were different, like female protagonist women who. I just want to hit home, we're not just our bodies, you know what I'm saying? We are the experiences around our bodies. We are other people's interactions with the bodies. We are if you're born in Iran, you're not just Sheba. You're not Sheba the way we know you. You know, you're experiencing very different things, and you may have the similar thoughts, but the manifestations of your experience is going to be different. So I'm sorry, I'm going off of the thing. The White Lotus was everyone, the two prostitutes or the two sex workers.
Women working in prostitution.
The Jennifer Coolidge character, Like I just saw women dealing with the condition of like what's going on.
Yeah,
in
the
this
Daphne and Harper, the rich.
Oh yeah, exactly.
ladies.
Yeah, exactly.
One newly rich and
ton-
another, you
right.
know, who grew up kind of expecting this, and being told that this was the best life. This is the best choice for you.
So which one is? So Harper was
Aubrey Plaza.
Aubrey Plaza. So the other one was
Daphne.
So Daphne was.
It's a beautiful name, by the way. I really think that's an interesting.
Yeah, Daphne was kind of very pretty, sort of arm candy for the rich guy, and her deal. You saw several times she had to deal with the dudes cheating, and she kind of looks over like she's listening. I remember this one time she's talking to the actor we didn't like.
Yeah.
And she's listening to him, his concern, the potential that dude was cheating, and she feels really sad looking at him, and then she looks over, and it just completely changes her face and comes back with just like, this is life. You don't have to know everything, and you don't have to worry.
And then they go over to that island and like, do you want to? And I'm pretty sure they bang.
Right.
And
I forgot about that.
You know, that's the thing about like we see her as arm candy. I see her as very smart. She's able to live the life she wants. She's able to feel loved. He does love her. Her husband does love her very much. You know, when he told that story about how she almost died in childbirth, you know, he loves her and wants to give her a good life and takes her on these awesome trips and things and comes and, you know, does stuff with the kids and things because he knows it, like, things, those are things that she likes. And he's kind of discreet about his things and he knows that she's not stupid, you know? He knows that she is probably getting hers in certain ways. And we don't see that emotional labor that she was doing for the guy that we don't like. That's labor. Like, he was not able to talk about what is going on. And she's like, I get you. I see it. But it's probably not that bad, you know? Like, they're still here. They love you. Like, it's cool that people have a little mystery to them. She like gave him a reframing of how to think of a neutral situation. Just, you know, think of it like it doesn't have to be this horrible thing that she doesn't love you, that your friends don't like you. It's people are mysterious and multifaceted. I've only scratched the surface of you, you know? And I think we don't see the work that women does as the magic that it is, the valuable healing power that it is.
There's a reframing there. Yeah, it's interesting. You know, I did a video where I talked about being a womanist, and I described a story about a woman I met on the train who was a dancer, who loved dancing, tap, ballet, and other stuff. And from the day she was like able to walk, she says, and then I met her at 60. She said she stopped dancing at like 26 or something because of her husband. Her husband said, so, but I the way I looked at that was a sad story. Like, she's on the train with me. I'm a stranger. She has all these pictures of herself when she was dancing in a box, and she presents it to me, and, you know, we're going to be on the train for 3 hours. I was trying to sleep, and she just wanted to talk. She just wanted to engage with these pictures with a new person. And
which makes me think, like...
So I just want to say, my thing is, like, you just described a smart person who conforms themselves to these conditions and is smart, but so it's a thin line. Tell me more about it.
I don't think she's not smart. I don't think the woman on the train isn't smart also. You know, like, women are taught to find ways to deal with life in a good way, not in a violent way. If dudes don't like what's going on, they leave. They punch their way through it. You know that they don't want to be there. Women, we make the best of it. And she's showing this, she's excited to share who she is, the fullness of who she is with a stranger. Maybe because she doesn't get to do it with her husband.
That's what I'm saying.
Her
Isn't that a
husband
sad
required
story?
her to be a wife.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's a fun little thing that you did, but that doesn't have any value when we are what we like the things we do, the things that interest us, the things we like. And how many women are told the things you like are silly and frivolous and don't matter and are harmful and are bad and are immoral.
And are not marketable and are not,
exactly.
You know, particularly the way the framing of the whole thing, if it doesn't bring in money.
Exactly. And
even though
not in a way like
so absurd.
Don't take pictures of yourself though, because that's bad.
Right,
Models
exactly.
are somehow
that's
bad.
That's how they cut that off.
And
exactly.
It's like, wait, what? So what are we supposed to do? Anything that we like or profit from is bad?
The thing that is marketable, it seems, whether you like it or not, we have to cut that down and control that and wrap that up. But yeah, even things like childcare and
child
domestic,
rearing.
home keeping,
Yeah.
they can sort of demean it and they say that it doesn't have the value that it actually does. And I think it's all pretty deliberate. So yeah, I guess the woman, it's both, because like I said, she's showing me other stuff. She's talking about her life. She has children and grandchildren, and she's a kept woman, is the word she said.
Great.
But that meant stopping this passion she had and just kind of bottling it up.
Yeah.
I guess. I hope she has other outlets than just niggas on the train. Cause
Well, yeah. What was she going to do?
I don't know. No, I tried.
Yeah.
Once I realized what was happening, I had a different.
That's a really
like, wow.
powerful skill that you have too. Women feel comfortable opening up to you in a way that not all men give off an aura that they're going to be a safe space for that. Like many men have been taught that, like, oh, women, yap, nothing important to say. But you were able to see that,
started there, then
exactly. But then you were able to have the grace to be like, let me be this listening ear. Let me appreciate this person who's being brave enough to be vulnerable about who they are. This thing that they've been told is unvaluable and not worthy of note, not worthy of pursuing, not, marketable. The thing, who she is, she wants to share it, and that's awesome that you could appreciate.
I think this speaks to, I don't know if it's some sort of the grad school work in philosophy or something, or just something. As a kid, I like people generally. I don't even rephrase that, because there's a lot of people I don't like straight up, but I think people are interesting, and I think that I know that experience is interesting, and I know that, like, again, she started off as just kind of an annoying, talkative, older black woman when I was trying to sleep. Once you get over that and sort of be in the moment, instead of the attachment or whatever, my own thing, I was like, oh, she was actually interesting.
Yeah.
She was interesting. She had an interesting story. And even when the story, starts off just, oh, so you let this guy tell you not to, but then you go deeper and, okay, so there's all these things here. And I got 3 hours of it, or 2.5 hours of it. And that's what's interesting to me, is that I think everybody, whether I like them or not, which is just this tangled web of these things, and the nature of gender is a big part of that often, because it's just a quiet force that's at play all of the time in our conversations and our interactions. So
I love that, like, we are pushing through that. I love knowing about people's stories, because it shows me another potential timeline of things. And so, like, this woman was probably alive, growing up maybe when Pearl Bailey was coming up, kind of contemporaries and things. And I love seeing, like, okay, you can make it work as this woman on the train. Your life will still be good. You'll make the best of it, but what if you took a risk on being a dancer? Maybe you'd be Pearl Bailey. Which is, you can still have a husband that loves you. You can still have a career. You can still have a family. You can still love yourself.
Yeah.
You can
maybe
still
all
learn
these
your
stories,
value.
all these stories are still beautiful at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
it's not. It is how you look at it.
It is how you look at it.
And
but I'm telling women, you can look at it in a grand, expansive way that we let boys kind of really. You can do the world, because we kind of have this understanding that you can have a family and you'll have a wife at home to deal with it while you still go off and live your dreams. And I want women to know that, like, you can go off and live your dreams, and there will be someone to tend to your home. I want women to have this expansive understanding of what they can expect for themselves.
I like that too, because isn't that different from, if I'm not listening closely, I might think that you're on this fuck dudes, do your thing, girls, you don't need men thing. When you haven't said that, that's not your argument. You're saying expand yourself, include yourself more instead of include, the equation. And I think that's a powerful place to be. I fuck with that, and I'm down for that with men and boys.
Yeah, and I think dudes are always like, oh, you gotta pay women for this. They're always wanting money, and they want their nails done, and they want, we have to take care of them. You guys don't sound like you like having to do that. And I understand it sucks feeling like a burden to someone. And so, like, just to,
that's because
I'm not doing a, like, fuck, man, I don't need men. I'm just great. Like, I don't have to rely on you. So you can live your dreams, I can live my dreams. It doesn't mean our dreams are not going to intersect, you know? And I think men, though, are taught that, like, if a woman isn't willing to make her dream, you know, a support role to his dream, like exclusively that, like that she's against him. And like, it's like not even that serious. I care about my well-being more than anyone else. And so I know that I'm the only one responsible for making myself happy. So I'm gonna do that. And you do that too. I want you to do that for you. Yeah. And I want to support your happiness. And I love that you support, you know, me and things.
But what about marriage? What about the women who, like, you said even like we can move and people, you're talking about a fluid arrangement that
yeah.
I think most people's conceptions of what a relationship looks like, what a good marriage is, and what the dream that, especially for y'all, the dream for y'all is something a lot more attached and rigid.
Yeah, I think that woman on the chain, I wish her husband would have done whatever he did to make money and invested that into what she wanted to do. Like, let her be a dancer. Go move with her if she has like a, you know, whatever. Make sure you're moving the family and taking things.
What?
It's like,
come on.
You know, show her that you value her, truly value her, in the way that you value yourself. And that's how
we're the leaders, right?
Yeah, and like that's fine, but like, okay, man, if you've been the leaders, look at what our world looks like. Look at what you've led us to. Maybe instead of demanding that you lead blindly into like fire and poison waters and like 9 to 5s that we're all trapped in and all this bullshit, maybe look at women who find ways to create beautiful things out of nothing. Even when no one gives them funding, they expect them to be this one little thing. Women find a way to make it happen.
I think the world needs a strong dose of feminine influence. Now, how does that manifest? People go, oh, so everybody, you know, first female president. Obviously, we've never had that in this country. But quite often you see in this country, who's that other woman in another country? Like, she was like, I'm ready to use nuclear weapons. I think, remember? She's the British.
Oh,
she's the British.
What's her name?
She just got out already, right?
Liz Truss. She was that for like 20
She goes,
days.
The women have to play the man's game in order to get access to those political spaces. You know, they come in. This should tell you about the malleability of this whole thing and understand how we are mirroring and attempt. So, especially in politics, they're aiming to be attractive to different demographics and to play the role of the thing. So,
and except when they play that role and they do the things men would do and it doesn't work, we blame women as inefficient and like, oh, they don't get it done, rather than indicting the system that women are just like, no, the system is stupid. This is what you guys value.
Presidents have to perform a callous sort of willingness to go to war. They have to perform all this other shit. And so men play that all the time. Women have to play it up because it's presumed that y'all are the opposite and you care too much about life. And so you have this stupid game.
It's like, why do you have people in charge who don't care enough about life?
But feminine energy, I mean to say, is this creative thing that I think you're talking about, which I think you're pointing to.
Yes.
Which is like on the international sphere, you know, like we have a system that is just about building armaments and mutual destruction, mutual assured. It's like, it's stupid. It's demonstrably stupid and wasteful and harmful and dangerous.
It's like a macro look of how we, you know, anyone, man or woman, who is in a conversation with another man understands that there's this guy could be crazy, and that is what we do on a large global scale.
And all it is, and people think that this is an
the
obvious
best way to do it,
best way, or the natural way, or that it's reflective of just human nature. No, it is the deliberate choice of very uncreative, limited, copycat, fearful men who are making these choices based on their framing and their own limitation and their own lack of understanding. So I think a feminine energy and approach has, yes, it's logical and it's also creative. It is to say it has values. The other thing that men do is because they're so logical, they say that these arrangements are free from emotion. They're free from politics. They're free from influence. These are just what happens, you know. But and so everything that y'all do is emotional, and that's how we construct it. But the truth is, you have all these values laden in this thing that you created.
The truth is, anger and fear and hurt are emotions that men are very
That's right.
encouraged to respond to violently and then logic their
Pretend it
way
away.
into, well, it was the only way to do it. It was the best way. I have trauma. It was this. And like,
It's crazy.
women have equal access to gun ownership as men do. Why are men the ones who commit 90% of the crimes? We're not going to get anywhere until we start talking about that.
Violent crimes. Yeah, crimes, probably.
Yes. Yes.
Um,
All the ways that we allow men to not control their emotions, and the ways that we pretend that women are the emotional ones who can't act logically.
I think it's funny because if you like, I look back at some of those old shows and movies. They show like men doing their thing. Like I say, groups of families get together, and the men sort of operate, and then the girls kind of wink and nod to each other. Like there's an understanding, there's an implicit understanding between women that this is all bullshit, but we're gonna be in the kitchen together, ladies, and let's kind of do our thing while the men do their thing. Again, in this conversation and in the last one, like we're talking about, when you talk about women, you're talking about men. You're talking about the ways that because they're both created. They were constructs of the mind. So, made manifest in the law, made manifest in the culture, made
our values
in the
system.
values. That's that. Let's see. All I got here is I had White Lotus Loneliness, and then I had Birthing Child Rearing, which I think we kind of did too.
Yeah, like I think that's part of our, like, women have this crazy, unfathomable, unreally, explored, and like, it's inexplicable ability to create. And we've been taught that it's only a childbirth thing, and we should kind of punish you for it, and you should want to do it naturally. So we're not going to pay you like a lot of money. It's a invaluable service, but we don't want to pay you as such. And if women understood that, like, this creative potential is not just in childbirth, and I don't think you can only harness that creative potential by giving birth to a human child. I like to think of, like someone with a uterus is born with all of the eggs they will have in their lifetime. So like I existed in my mother's stomach. Like I was with her in the 60s and things. And feasibly then, my eggs, I have thousands, millions of powerful ass children, the power in me. That means I'm powerful. That means I'm immensely powerful.
I love that. And I love how, as I hear that, I immediately go, I hear this argument from right-wingers. Oh, so then you can't abort any of them because they're already children, as you just said.
Sorry, if they can't live outside my body, if I am the only one keeping them alive, I get to decide what goes on.
You see the power of language, though, just to point out, like, this kind of, you call it children, well, then they're going to manifest that use, that word choice, in a way that serves their worldview.
Yeah, and I will use that same word choice. Yes, I can bring them into this world. I can take them out. We've all heard that one, right?
But no one means it.
I mean, that doesn't stop adults from murdering their children regularly. It doesn't stop adults from sending their children to fight wars that we all say are, have to do it. Are we creating children simply to be cannon fodder to solve the problems that we are unwilling to fix? How come it's less compassionate for me to be like, no, kids, you are going to come into a world where they're going to make you earn a living. They're going to teach you how to hate yourself. They're going to teach you how you're only valuable for doing this one little thing. And they're going to, you're not good enough. You're too this. Stay safe with me, babies. I will lead us to freedom. Anyway, that's what, so I am also aware that, like, girls, and women, girls obviously will see me as a role model. But I have been, like, really tickled to see how many elderly women also see me as an inspiration and role model.
I've seen that. And
right? And that just tells me, wow, what stories they were told about who they were allowed to be. Like, that they shouldn't express too much. You shouldn't do this. You should, like, this is how you should be at work. This is the type of work you should pursue. This is how you should speak about yourself publicly. And if you don't, you're not going to get a good man. Like, and I,
yeah.
like, who needs these men? Like, what's a good man? Kidding, you are. You're amazing.
all the definitions. Yo,
but I think you are a rare, like,
thank you.
rare thing who only came after I was able to see how amazing and valuable I am. Like, you know, it really helped to love myself so I could recognize someone like you.
Thanks, baby. Is there anything else you want to, like, a last wrap up on girls? Did we cover everything?
Man, I actually, I had sent it in a WhatsApp. I should have told you about it, but like I had these different cartoons I was going to talk about. Because I want to try to get it to like talk about scientific cartoons or some sort of a thing from our childhood that, you know, has to do with the things. But yeah, so I had this thing, Totally Spies.
Yeah.
Which is the, you know, groups of girls being girls, but also getting shit done, being the hero.
Heard of that.
Those are the type of things that, you know, Powerpuff Girls. What else are right there?
Powerpuff Girls, Kim Possible, Pepper Ann, Totally Spies, Proud Family, Boondocks.
Yeah. So I added Boondocks because what's her name voices the boys.
Both the characters.
Yeah. And we're told, you know, all of these things, but like women do all of this unseen labor. They're always saving the day, and they don't, you know, have to be the one who's like, you know, Batman, like blah blah blah. But we should.
Yeah, I think women are always there, saving the day,
making things better,
assisting the day, thinking, creating,
dreaming of a better future, and going out to create it.
They're just always there. But when you create narratives, you get to zoom in. You have to zoom in. When you look at this complex thing, which includes all of us powerfully, you zoom in. And when you zoom in, you kind of notice your biases. Like they're not even to judge what they are, like in a bad way. They're just that. So like I right now we're in an active mode of like zooming into women more. And it's funny to see how men get weird about it. But it is to say that like the last couple generations was an active mode of zooming into men, frankly. And so these new narratives are just another continuation of that. It's an effort.
Men are used to being centered, so now that they're not, it feels unnatural to them.
It's just like the same thing when cats get weird about like, oh, there's more gay stories, there's more LGBTQ protagonists. That this is intentional. Yeah, well, notice that everything prior was intentionally thing. But if you come from a space of thinking that you're the thing, you're the standard, you're the norm. That these are deviants from that. No, you're just one of the things.
Yeah, you only think that
one of the ways of being.
Were in the same way you think they're trying to brainwash people by putting gay characters in things. You were brainwashed into thinking that heteronormative people was the norm. Heterosexuals were the norm. That men are this way and women are this way. That was just a story you were brainwashed with that benefited you. So of course you don't like the idea that someone else could be the hero. Or
that there are stories that are so vast and complex that deviate even subtly from like
that even the heroes are villains.
The natural stuff. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yo, another episode down, baby.
Oh my god, we're so good.
Yo, thanks a lot. I'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah, Shiba Sunday.
It's 1.
Gonna be a good one.
We'll be talking about the unfortunate
lots of stuff. I mean, we're talking about that Twitch.
Yeah.
Gentleman. Megan. Death. Oof.
Yeah.
Which is cool because we talked about birth and life. And we're going to talk about life and death tomorrow.
Yes, indeed.
But it's going to be
fun. All right, y'all. See you then.